Well, like many of you I know, I grew up in a large family. We shared everything, and even to the point to having a bath by yourself was really a luxury. Some of you may understand that. But I'll tell you what, there wasn't anything that I could compare that to my experience when I entered seminary at Virginia Theological Seminary near Washington, D.C. I had been attending seminary part-time in Oklahoma for about 6 years, taking a course or so a semester because I wanted to be a better Sunday school teacher, and just let that be a lesson to any of you that start doing that kind of thing. You could end up where I am. One of the things that happened when I got to seminary is that since I'd taken so many courses and so forth, I had less to do than some of the other students. So the dean of the college called me in and asked me if I would be in charge of all the African students. We had between 9 and 15, depending on the semester, there that were actually Anglican priests and had come to Virginia to work on a master's in Anglican studies. So that's how they did it. And the seminary and so forth would fly them out of Africa to the United States and feed them and take care of them for 2 years and fly them back. But besides that, that's all the support they had, except they told me, well, we do have $150 per student per year to support them. But I'm sure you'll find some way to handle all this. Well, thank God I'd come from a large family. Didn't bother me to share things. In fact, I like doing that. And I got to the airport and I met 9 men all there, and I said, well, we'll go down here first of all and get our bags, get the bags. And they all looked at each other and they said, we have no bags. We just come here with what we have. Okay. So my first stop was at Walmart. This is not an advertisement, but just the closest place. And I bought underwear, socks, toothpaste, toothbrush, soap, shampoo, kind of the basic survival essentials, you might say, before I took them back to the dorm late that evening. That proved to be the beginning of 2 of the most exciting years of my life, because the thing next on my list was to get clothes for them. And I did that in a very unique way. Besides going around to some of the Goodwills and stuff, I would find somebody in the church and I would say, Phil, I have a friend that needs a coat about like your size. How about a coat? And by the way, what size shoes do you wear? And do you have any spare pants? And so forth. And that's really the way we furnish clothes to all of these people. And we had some hilarious things. It started rainy season, so I took them all down to the corner store to buy umbrellas. They all come back up to the counter with pink umbrellas, and I said, no, no guys. And I ended up saying this many, many times. There's just some things about our culture that probably you'll never understand. But men do not have pink umbrellas. Well, anyway, I'm more flexible on that now than I used to be, but anyway. After all, I've been in California 10 years, but anyway. But the way that the things work out is that we started sharing, and Sally and I began having them in and out of our house. One of the biggest things that they couldn't understand is why anyone would have a cat in their house. Maybe some of you think that way too, but anyway, I had a cat and always have had, and they thought it was kind of vicious of me. We would be going along and they would say, are there any fierce animals in these woods? And I said, yeah, the most fierce animal is this little spider called a brown spider. You know, that's the most fierce animal that we have in the woods. Anyway, It was a growth experience for all of us, sharing our lives together. But the thing is that as I taught them about our culture and things, valuable things like not to pick up pink umbrellas, the thing that they taught me was really how to live in spirit. These men were very vitally, very earnestly grounded in the Holy Spirit. They shared everything with each other. They loved each other, although they had never met. And they would talk about things that I could not even understand, trying to explain to me about their cultures. And they would just have to say in response to my, well, it's cultural. Over here, they would say, it's tribal and you'll never understand it. And indeed, I don't understand some of the things. In our gospel today, something very sacred, very holy happened with the disciples, and that is they were touched by the Holy Spirit. Thomas, of course, was the one that probably spoke for many of them. But he had the courage to say, unless I put my finger in the holes in his hand and place my hand in his side, I am not going to believe that it is really Jesus risen. But there are funny things that happen to us when we get to that point where we literally touch the risen Christ, or to see God in each other, or come to the point of where we realize that our whole life and our fulfillment and our meaning and our loving and our living and all of the good things in life come by sharing our lives with God. And coming to the point that where we share, we become more alive. As we give, we tend to open up more. As we embrace sometimes the stranger, the horizon seems to move farther away from us, and we can see further than we had before. Meister Eckhart was a 14th century theologian in Germany. Kind of a mysterious guy, and I like reading this stuff. He says, God's love is like molten metal. And that molten metal is flowing all the time among us, but there are a few people that will stick their foot in it because they want to set limits to God. They want to set boundaries around themselves. They really like God and like Christianity, but they really just don't want to get involved that much. And he said, sometimes church makes people that way. Because it convinces them that they have done their part. After all, you don't have to do much more than come to Sunday and make a pledge, be known to the treasurer, we call it. But what about that doing more, coming to the point where we are really willing to step beyond what we have done before and share our lives with God?